Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with some late breaking news here on free agent frenzy at 9:38 p.m. As I'm recording this, the Oilers have signed Andrew Mangiapane to a 2-year contract, $3.6 million per season, or $7.2 million total. And for Oilers fans, I think a lot of us, we can finally just breathe a little sigh of relief because the team has finally done something that we can talk about, something, noteworthy. They did sign two AHL two-way contracts earlier this afternoon. I didn't do a video on them because, I don't really know anything about the goaltender that they signed or the defenseman that they signed, Riley Stillman. Sorry, Stillman fans, if you're out there, I do apologize. I just don't know enough about that D-man. And they also signed a goaltender as well. I think was in the Tampa Bay Lightning organization, signed him to a two-way deal. But Andrew Mangiapane is the big contract here. That is the big signing for Edmonton here just before the end of free agent frenzy on this beautiful Canada Day, wherever you are. Happy Canada Day, by the way. Andrew Mangiapane is coming off a 14-goal season with the Washington Capitals. Now, what exactly does Mangiapane bring? Why am I so, excited about this? Well, Andrew Mangiapane is one of those players that Oilers fans are pretty familiar with. Mangiapane played most of his career in Calgary. He went to Washington last season, put up 14 goals, and he kind of struggled in the playoffs, didn't get to play a whole lot. But what Andrew Mangiapane brings is a bit of a snarl, right? He can play the wing, he can play a little bit of center, and he can penalty kill, and he has a goal-scoring touch. Now, $3.6 million per season. Some of you may look at last year's stats and be like, okay, well, 28 points, that's not very good. There's a lot more to his game than just production. He does drive play. When he's on the ice, good things tend to happen. We will take a look at his natural stat trick expected goals for percentage at 5-on-5. He ranked 5th on the Washington Capitals in expected goals for percentage at 5-on-5, played 924 minutes. He was mostly relegated to their bottom to middle six, but he can play with skilled players. When he was on the ice, the team did outscore their opponents 28-27. His expected goals for total was 53.38% at 5-on-5. And for Mangiapane, a 9.95 PDO. A lot of Washington Capitals ran some pretty aggressive PDO heaters. So I would expect Andrew Mangiapane's advanced stats to translate to a little bit more production, at least with Edmonton. And considering the opportunity that he's going to get with the Oilers, when we take a look at their middle to top six, he should slot in nicely somewhere on that third or second line. This is also a player that I think is more valuable than Victor Arvidsson, who did just get traded to the Boston Bruins. So Mangiapane, $3.6 million. Arvidsson was making $4 million. So you can kind of look at those two players and look at the Oilers and go, okay, well, they save about $400,000 per season. If we take a look at the depth chart for Edmonton, I have Mangiapane slotted into that second line right wing or left wing position. I guess it doesn't really matter where you want to put him, but he also could play third line. Right now, I have Frederick Henrique and Savoy on the third line, Kapanen, Janmark, Tomasek on the fourth line. Jones, Hamblin, and Philp are all likely going to be fighting for roster slots in the preseason. If you take a look at the current cap space for the Edmonton Oilers, $950,000 is all they have left right now after signing Andrew Mangiapane. But what they could be doing with that cap space is letting it kind of build up, accrue. You accrue cap space throughout the regular season, and then by the trade deadline, that $950,000 becomes worth around like $4 million-ish. I'm just kind of spitballing the math. Of course, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, I do believe the Oilers still do need a goaltender. Skinner and Pickard are obviously still under contract, and those are the two goaltenders that we have on the depth chart right now. But Andrew Mangiapane is a very good player, a very good pickup for the Edmonton Oilers. I like this player. He did have that outrageous season with the Calgary Flames in 2021-2022. He had 35 goals. He shot an outrageous 18.9%. He is not a volume shooter, but I think if he's given some opportunity with a guy like Draisaitl, you can expect to see him shoot the puck a little bit more. He does play shorthanded, special teams. He's one of those players that is effective at 5-on-5, and he does have snarl to his game. He does hit an okay amount, not like a crazy amount, but he does throw the body. He's not the biggest body around. He's listed listed at 5'10", 183. And, for Mangiapane, for Oilers fans, this is a very good player. I think you're going to like how he plays. I am personally a big fan of him. If you follow me on social media, I was putting out some tweets today throughout free agency saying that if the Oilers could pick up Andrew Mangiapane, that would be fantastic. This is a player that can play in a lot of different situations. Of course, we know Stan Bowman and the Edmonton Oilers, they're looking for some help on the penalty kill. They're looking for some production that helps replace, guys that they've lost, like Connor Brown, Corey Perry, Victor Arvidsson. Like, the Oilers have lost a decent amount of goal scoring. So you do expect some of the players that either get signed or come up through the system, like a Matthew Savoy, to try and kind of, make up that goal-scoring deficit that Edmonton has lost today. Obviously, there's going to be more news come out. Stan Bowman, he was supposed to have a press conference today. They kept getting pushed back every single hour for about 4 hours, and until they decided, you know what, no press conference tonight, and it's probably because they were trying to get the Mangiapane deal done. I assume tomorrow Stan Bowman will make a media availability. I assume Andrew Mangiapane will be available during that availability as well. This is a good signing. Obviously, it's not like one of those high-end, high-caliber, big difference makers for the top six. There's a lot of big fish out there. There's a guy like Nikolai Ehlers who, it's out of Edmonton's budget, right? I would like a volume shooter. I would like a pure sniper for that top six, but this is a situation where the Oilers are trying to plug some holes with a little bit of depth, a little bit of snarl, some special teams capabilities, and I think it's a really good pickup. I think this is a very positive for Oilers and Oilers fans, and if you take a look at some of the contracts that have been handed out today, I did a video on what Ken Holland did with the Los Angeles Kings. Oh my God, if you missed that and my reaction to what Ken Holland was doing with the Kings, make sure you check out the video in the link in the description below. If you take a look at some of the contracts that have been handed out on Free Agent Frenzy and even just before free agency opened, I think $3.6 million per season is an absolute steal for a player like Mangiapane. I think what he is going to bring to this team is very important. He brings speed, he brings some tenacity, he brings some penalty kill, special teams, and he's someone that can put the puck in the net. Historically, he's one of those guys, expect about 17 to 20 goals-ish. If he doesn't score 20, it's not like it's going to be a disappointing season. This is a good player, right? A lot of fans, you might be just looking at the production aspect and being like, okay, well, $3.6 million, kind of rich. Nah, I trust me, Andrew Mangiapane is absolutely worth every single penny. I think he would have got about $4 or more million per season from other teams. I won't be surprised if it comes out that other teams were offering Andrew Mangiapane more, but it looks like and it sounds like Mangiapane wants to win. He wants to come to a team that is on the cusp of glory with their core. You have Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Zach Hyman, Evan Bouchard, Matthias Ekholm, Jake Wallman, and, the rest of the gang. They are all here. The Oilers are still a playoff team. This is a good team. There's still lots of things that are going to be kind of, being worked on by Stan Bowman. We can't get too worked up on the, lack of overall moves today. Last year, we were all excited about Jeff Jackson's, Summer of Jeff, moves that he made, all the signings that he made. I distinctly remember the videos that I put out last year during Free Agent Frenzy, all the things that Jeff Jackson did. We were all very excited in Oil Country, and sadly, players like Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson, they just didn't work out the way that we hoped. So I think that Stan Bowman being patient, not offering these ludicrous contracts that we've seen be handed out around the rest of the league, and then finding a value contract in Andrew Mangiapane is a very, very big positive here in Oil Country. It's nice to have a general manager that at least is being a little bit patient, not immediately rushing out there and trying to sign these contracts, sign these players, and, he took his time. He took his time. Andrew Mangiapane, I think, was pretty highly sought after, and you can tell that Bowman has been working on this all day with Mangiapane's agent, who apparently is the exact same agent as Noah Philp. So that's interesting. Just a little fun fact there. I think I read that before I went live for this video. Let me know your thoughts on the Andrew Mangiapane signing, and let me know how your Canada Day has been going. If you're watching this on July 2nd, of course, I hope you had an amazing Canada Day if you live in Canada. If you don't live in Canada, well, either way, I hope you had an amazing day today. Make sure you tell someone that you love them before the end of this video, or I guess after you watch this video, technically. And, of course, as always, fight like a kid. Fight like Ben. Let's go, Oilers. We'll talk soon, Oil Country. Take care.